If it feels like everyone your age is ahead of you, there's usually one root reason, and it's not what you think. The good news? You can start fixing it in the next 90 days. The bad news? If you don't, the gap will only get wider, cementing your position in the ranks of the perpetually striving but ultimately unfulfilled. I am speaking directly to the man or woman who feels they have fallen behind, who sees their peers accumulating wealth, influence, and purpose, while they remain stuck, caught in a cycle of aimless effort and mounting frustration. Perhaps you feel as though you discovered the great laws of success, the 13 principles of achievement, too late, arriving at the field of opportunity after the harvest has begun. Perhaps you wasted your youth in toxic environments that drained your motivation and normalized mediocrity, or sacrificed your defining years serving someone else's narrow dream, working for the mere promise of security instead of aiming for autonomy and personal wealth creation. The feeling of being perpetually behind, often termed the comparison trap, is a common psychological burden, but it has a distinctly practical and correctable root cause that is not dependent on external circumstances. I say this to you plainly. You are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. The window of opportunity is always open for the determined mind, regardless of age, but the cost of inaction compounds daily, making the effort required to catch up steeper with every passing week. Delay is the most expensive luxury you can afford. The hidden reason you feel behind is not bad luck, inherent lack of talent, or cruel circumstance. It is the fundamental lack of a definite, crystallized goal and the resultant habit of procrastination that has systematically stolen your time, siphoning away the critical hours that should have been spent on purposeful, organized effort and focused self-improvement. This gap in time management and mental focus is the true metric of separation between the successful and the struggling. If you are ready for the Carnegie secret, the one I spent a lifetime defining through the study of the great industrialists and thinkers, then you must understand that you already possess one half of it, which is the latent capacity for immense effort and the profound desire for a better life and greater achievement. The other half is found in the immediate, non-negotiable application of the 13 principles of achievement, which form a comprehensive philosophy of success. The time for waiting for a perfect sign or opportunity has ended. The fixing process begins now with the first and most critical step, commanding your desire, which acts as the foundational mental fuel for all subsequent action and persistence. The men who achieve great fortunes and influence are not necessarily the smartest, the most educated, or the most fortunate in initial circumstances. They are simply the men who mastered and applied the immutable laws that govern all riches and the psychology of continuous, directed progress. The principles described in this channel hold the secret of mastery over your economic fate, translating mere wishes, hopes, and vague intentions into tangible material success and enduring influence. Let us begin by exposing the true reason you feel the pressure of time and the weight of regret, so that you may move past mere self-recrimination and into strategic action. If you feel behind, if your efforts seem to wander without concrete result, if you feel lost in a sea of ambitionless people, I tell you the hidden reason is simple. You lack a definite chief aim at which to aim. This absence of a fixed, singular objective, a mental lighthouse guiding all your decisions, is the master cause of all wasted energy, delayed success, and the paralyzing feeling of being stuck. The world does not reward the wanderer, the man who accepts what life offers without protest, who chases every fleeting ambition or promising trend, and who works hard without a clearly defined destination, is doomed to failure, or, at best, to mediocrity and a perpetual struggle for stability. You have been running a race without a finish line, and you wonder why you are exhausted and remain frustratingly close to the starting block, suffering from a debilitating lack of traction and visible progress. You have been scattering your shot instead of concentrating it into a single devastating impact. To fix this gap in the next 90 days, you must forge a burning desire, the power that recognizes no such word as impossible, and provides the essential emotional intensity and resilience needed to overcome inertia and defeat. This desire must be an obsession, a non-negotiable mental image of your future reality. The hidden reason exposed, lack of definite purpose, 90-day focus. Let me define definite chief aim. It is not a wish, which is passive. It is not hope, which is uncertain. It is the crystallization of a wish into a clear, written, emotionalized statement of purpose backed by a comprehensive, actionable plan. This is the crucial difference between simple daydreaming and the initiation of execution. Until you have this aim fixed firmly, all effort is wasted effort because it lacks direction. Your conscious mind has no target to focus upon, your subconscious mind has no command to execute, and your persistence will be weak and brittle because it lacks a definite object, making every setback insurmountable. You cannot hit a target you have not named, and a vague target yields vague, unsatisfying results. Recall the inspiring story of Edwin C. Barnes, a man who practically demonstrated how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. Barnes was a man of limited means, possessed no formal college education, and had no personal connection to the great inventor Thomas Edison. The world would have justifiably called him an underdog, a late starter if there ever was one, facing immense practical barriers of finance and access. Yet Barnes held in his mind not a mere interest or mild preference, but a deep, burning desire to become the business associate of the great Edison. Crucially, he did not want to work for Edison in some subordinate role. He wanted to work with him as a peer. He fixed that definite purpose in his mind, and though it took years of dedicated effort and many significant setbacks, his desire became so intense that it forced the necessary opportunity to appear by making him keenly alert to every possible opening and refusing to consider retreat. He arrived at Edison's laboratory, declared his unorthodox intent, and his desire was so palpably intense that Edison later said he saw a determination in Barnes's eyes that would never turn back, recognizing the rare quality of absolute definiteness and conviction. Barnes had no money. He had no influence. He had no formal credentials. But he had a definiteness of purpose that was not merely ambition, but a powerful, burning desire. That desire overcame every deficit, every delay, and every obstacle, including the psychological barrier of his own humble background and the ridicule of others. It forced the universe to yield by compelling him to take decisive, sustained action over a period where most men would have given up. If you worry that your lack of direction has cost you too much time and that the gap is now insurmountable, then you must apply the unparalleled power of desire immediately and without reservation. The first tangible step toward riches and organized success is the transformation of a vague general wish into a burning, non-negotiable desire for a definite amount of money or a definite position, specified with absolute clarity and backed by emotional intensity. You must stop accepting what life randomly offers without protest. You must stop being a victim of your past environment or the people who told you to settle for less than your potential because they settled for theirs. You must command your life by giving your subconscious mind a clear, specific, and urgent directive. Your effort has been wasted because it was scattered across too many unprioritized goals, resulting in diffusion of power. Your ambition has been weak because it was not emotionalized with the necessary intensity to withstand opposition. Your entire effort to catch up must begin with this first principle, which serves as the powerful engine and foundation for the next 12 principles. I do not ask you to simply write down a goal on a piece of paper. I ask you to write a command to your subconscious mind and to the universe, written in the present tense, declaring your purpose as an accomplished and inevitable fact. This systematic psychological reprogramming is the Carnegie secret in action, the purposeful conditioning of the self for ultimate success. This is the precise, meticulous formula Barnes used to focus his energy, detailing the process from abstract thought to material reality. This is the immutable law that turns the intensity of thought into material equivalent. You must follow these 6 steps exactly as the order, specificity, and emotional application are non-negotiable for success. Fix the exact amount of money and what you will give in return. Be absolutely definite and uncompromisingly specific. Do not say, I want a lot of money. Say, I will possess the sum of $500,000 by the 1st of January, 2028. And crucially, state what specific service, goods, or sacrifice you intend to render for this money. Recognizing the universal law of exchange, that nothing of value is received for nothing. Riches never come free. They are always the result of equivalent service or value delivered to others. Establish a definite date for its possession. A purpose without a deadline is merely a dream or a wish that can be postponed indefinitely. The deadline creates the necessary urgency, forces immediate planning, and compels you to make decisions. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once, whether you are ready or not. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect knowledge, or the perfect financial situation to appear. The time to begin is now, with whatever knowledge and resources you currently possess, committing to refining the plan as you gain experience. Action, however imperfect, is the first and most critical step of the plan itself. Write out this clear, concise statement. Your statement must include the exact amount of money, the specific time limit, the service you will give, and the brief summary plan you will use to achieve it, creating a tangible, non-negotiable contract with yourself and the universe. Read the statement aloud, twice daily. Read it once just before retiring at night, and once immediately after rising in the morning. This repetition is a systematic practice designed to bypass your conscious skepticism and penetrate your subconscious mind where it can take root. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money, this is the secret step, the one that leverages the power of faith and belief. This is the use of autosuggestion to inject your desire into the subconscious mind, effectively creating a money consciousness or an achievement mentality. You must visualize your desired wealth or position as if it is already yours, operating from the psychological assumption of guaranteed success. If you say, "I don't know how to write a plan," I say, write the best plan you can conceive of today, detailing the first immediate action, and start with the unbreakable intention of improving it tomorrow through feedback and new knowledge. The key is to begin at once, breaking the paralyzing habit of procrastination that has kept you behind, and thus proving to your subconscious that the cycle of inertia is broken. You have wasted enough time waiting for external permission or perfect clarity. I command you to dedicate the first 30 days entirely to mastering the 6 steps, making the twice daily reading and emotionalization an unbroken ritual, regardless of how foolish you may feel initially. Your focus must be absolute, ruthlessly eliminating all trivial pursuits, distractions, and time-wasting habits that do not serve your aim. Ensure your definite chief aim is specific, deeply emotionalized, and coupled with an urgent deadline, thereby acting as an irresistible mental magnet. This daily practice is not merely superficial motivation. It is a profound scientific process of self-reprogramming. It is the conscious, directed use of autosuggestion to create what I call the money consciousness, which is a state of mind where the accumulation of money or the achievement of your goal becomes the expected and inevitable outcome. You must saturate your mind with the unwavering belief that you will attract the riches you desire, just as a piece of soft iron is saturated with magnetism until it becomes a permanent magnet. The time you lost in the past is entirely irrelevant if you apply this power with maximum intensity now, using the memory of that lost time as potent fuel for your desire. Your goal for the first month is simply to command your desire, establishing a fixed point of purpose and eliminating aimlessness forever. If you master this foundation, you have already closed the gap on 90% of the population who merely wish without definition and fail to apply the essential emotional power of belief. The secret is not in the vague wanting, but in the specific writing and the reading with feeling and conviction. If you are gaining clarity from this message and feel the urgent, non-negotiable need to reclaim your time, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. This is not a platform for generic advice. It is a repository of the great fixed laws of achievement defined by Carnegie, Ford, Edison, and the masters of fortune, the laws that govern the acquisition of all great things. Subscribe now to ensure you do not miss the remainder of this 90-day plan to secure your second start and build an unshakable foundation. The root of the gap: indecision and negative influences, 90-day focus, decision and autosuggestion. The reason the gap is widening between you and the men of definite purpose is that indecision is the seedling of fear, and lack of decision stands near the head of the list of the 30 major causes of failure, acting as a constant, debilitating drain on your potential and resources. A lack of decision has been the principal thief of your time, forcing you to remain in a state of suspended animation while your peers advance. You delay action because you fear making the wrong move. You fear criticism from your cautious peers and family, or you fear failing in public after committing to a specific course. This underlying fear paralyzes the will, allowing golden opportunities to pass by unnoticed or unseized. You allow others to influence your choices because their conventional opinions seem safer and more risk-averse than your own bold conviction, effectively outsourcing your personal sovereignty and responsibility. Remember that procrastination, the very habit that ensures you fall further behind, is the exact opposite of prompt decision. The moment you delay a decision, you invite doubt, uncertainty, and negative suggestions to take root in your mind, slowing down your momentum and diluting your desire. You must immediately conquer procrastination by adopting the unwavering habit of prompt decision, recognizing that time is the single most valuable, non-renewable asset you possess, and that every delay is a theft from your future self. Study history, and you will find that all men of enduring power and influence are men of quick and firm decisions. When the 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence, they knew they were facing the potential loss of life if they failed, committing to a course of action with immediate, potentially fatal consequences. That was not a tentative agreement. It was a prompt, fixed, courageous decision made in the face of overwhelming odds. They decided, and the world adjusted around their unwavering conviction. Their decision to hold the Continental Congress and sign the Declaration illustrates the immense moral and psychological value of courage required to render great decisions, demonstrating that conviction is infinitely more potent than safety. They did not wait for safety or perfect consensus. They acted decisively when the outcome was uncertain, but their conviction in the rightness of their cause was not. Your fear of making a mistake is what holds you back, forcing you into analysis paralysis, a state where studying the map becomes more important than starting the journey. You must recognize that the man who makes a prompt decision and fails can learn from that failure and succeed far faster than the man who never moves at all, because the man of action gains valuable, specialized experience and builds the habit of movement. The cost of doing nothing always far exceeds the cost of a mistake made in the pursuit of a definite chief aim. The habit of prompt decision requires 2 immediate, conscious actions: mastery of your own mental processes and mastery of your environment, specifically controlling the negative influences you allow to penetrate your thoughts. First, you must learn to reach decisions promptly and change them slowly. Once your definite chief aim is set and your plan is written, your subsequent decisions must rigidly serve that aim and plan, not the fleeting opinions of others or the emotional whims of the moment. Great leaders make decisions based on principle, purpose, and fact, and they only change them slowly when new, undeniable, material facts, not emotions, rumors, or discouragement, prove the original decision unsound. The man who is constantly shifting his purpose and decision based on every new suggestion is inviting poverty and instability into his life. Second, you must understand your profound susceptibility to negative influences. Talking too much about your plans discloses your sensitive intentions to people who are often unconsciously envious, cynical, or simply too timid to risk their own comfort, and they invariably project their fears and limitations onto you. These people, who often appear well-meaning and cautious, are in reality the insidious architects of your procrastination by supplying endless reasons why your bold move might fail. Therefore, you must keep your own counsel fiercely, taking no one into your confidence except the members of your mastermind group, which we will discuss later and which is specifically chosen for its supportive, constructive counsel and alignment with your purpose. Until that group is formed, protect your aim and plan fiercely from the debilitating force of unsolicited, conventional, and negative advice. The key to resisting negative influences is the daily, non-negotiable use of autosuggestion and willpower. You must actively and consciously replace doubt, criticism, and fear with belief, courage, and certainty. This 30-day period must be entirely dedicated to establishing the unwavering habit of decision and building a psychological wall of immunity against both internal doubt and external negative influences, thereby making your mind a fortress dedicated to your purpose. Use your willpower constantly and deliberately to develop an armor against the paralyzing doubt that comes from within and without. You have spent years passively absorbing fear and doubt from your past environment. Now you must voluntarily and aggressively program your mind with their opposites: faith, courage, and definiteness of purpose. I want you to use the self-confidence formula daily, a written creed related directly to your aim. This is not a casual affirmation. It is a written set of positive thought impulses that you must read, understand, and deeply emotionalize. You must voluntarily influence your subconscious mind by commanding it with positive, self-affirming statements related to your definite chief aim, reinforcing your belief in your ability to execute your plan perfectly. You must command yourself to eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism from your life. These negative emotions are mental chains that inherently attract poverty and indecision, and they are inherently parasitic, consuming your mental energy. They drain the energy required for prompt, decisive action, and they occupy the mental space that should be reserved solely for your definite chief aim and faith. Develop love for all humanity, not as a moral or religious obligation alone, but as a practical business necessity, because a mind burdened by negative emotion cannot function at its peak creative and organizational power. Your mind cannot hold a definite, powerful purpose and a powerful negative emotion simultaneously. One must be purged for the other to thrive. This period establishes the vital habit of decision, preventing fear from seizing your mind and halting your progress. You will find that when you have a definite aim, the choices you must make become strikingly clear and straightforward, eliminating the need for excessive deliberation. You must act immediately on your informed conviction, knowing that clarity often comes only after the first brave step is taken. The man who is behind is the man who waited for absolute certainty. The man who is ahead is the man who decided and moved despite uncertainty. Move now with unwavering conviction and break the chains of indecision forever. The fix: converting information into organized power, 90-day focus, planning, and knowledge. The gap exists because knowledge alone is only potential power, a dormant battery. The world is filled with highly educated, well-meaning people who are broke or struggling because they possess only general knowledge and no definite, organized plan to apply it effectively. To gain the power required to accelerate and catch up, you must immediately organize your knowledge and transmute your definite desire and prompt decision into action through organized planning. You may have spent years in schooling, accumulating degrees and information, yet still feel behind in practical results and financial attainment. This is because general knowledge, the knowledge taught in schools, acquired from general reading, or held casually, is of little use in the accumulation of money or great influence. Money and power are accumulated by men who sell highly specialized knowledge that has been intelligently organized and directly applied toward a definite end or a valued service. If you are behind, it is often because you have been content with average compensation and have lacked a practical, systematic, written plan to monetize your unique skills or knowledge in a way that provides exceptional, quantifiable value to the market in large measure. Consider the classic story of Henry Ford. Ford accumulated his vast fortune not because he was an intellectual giant or a man of superior formal schooling. In fact, he famously surrounded himself with men who possessed far more technical, engineering, and financial education than he did. Ford succeeded because he had a relentless, sound, and rigid plan for mass production and distribution. He knew exactly what he wanted to build, a system that made the motor car accessible to every man through efficiency and low cost, and he organized every resource, every process, and every mind around that definite aim, turning an intention into a global industrial system that transformed society. Contrast this with the highly educated professors and theorists who often have little money because they do not specialize in the organization or direct use of knowledge for commercial benefit. They know how to do many things in theory, but have no plan to sell their knowledge in large volumes or apply it to solving high-value, practical problems for which the market pays richly. You must stop confusing knowledge with power. Power is applied knowledge, the result of organized and directed intelligence, applied through a definite plan. To organize your knowledge into power, you must immediately follow the steps of the sixth principle, organized planning, ensuring that your desire and decision now have a concrete, tangible roadmap for execution. Reduce your definite plan to writing. You must now take your statement of definite chief aim from Section 1 and create a detailed daily, weekly, and monthly roadmap of the steps required to achieve it. If the plan is not written and scheduled, it does not exist as a functional command or a measurable program. Concentrate all of your efforts on one definite chief aim. Do not allow minor details or secondary goals to dilute your energy and focus. All roads, all decisions, and all daily actions must lead to the one great aim you have defined, creating a singularity of purpose and maximizing the impact of your efforts. Identify and acquire the specialized knowledge required for your DCA. What specific skill, expertise, or knowledge is absolutely necessary and non-negotiable to achieve your $500,000 goal? If you do not possess it, you must acquire it immediately through formal schooling, self-study, or, most efficiently, by allying yourself with those who already possess it, the mastermind principle. Market your services effectively and permanently by adopting the QQS formula as a rigid habit, maximum quality, quantity, and the proper spirit of cooperation. If you sell your time, you must give more value than you are paid for, anticipating the needs of the buyer. If you provide a product or service, it must be the highest quality, delivered in the greatest quantity that the market demands, with the finest spirit of cooperation and pleasant demeanor. This formula ensures permanent success and constant demand, as it makes you indispensable to the market. The man who is behind often fears starting at the bottom due to pride or impatience, believing it to be beneath him, but the man who starts at the bottom with a definite plan and the QQS formula quickly rises to the top, because he is a person of known, reliable value whose progress cannot be halted. Your salary is not a measure of your inherent value. It is only a measure of your current level of organized power and the effectiveness of your plan to market that power. This final 30-day block focuses on tangible execution, specialization, and market delivery, transitioning you from planning to full directed motion. Structure your efforts entirely around your written plan. Every hour of your day must be scrutinized to ensure it is contributing directly to the accumulation of the specialized knowledge necessary for your aim or the execution of your plan. Eliminate the time-wasting general consumption of media, gossip, and trivialities that has held you back, replacing it with targeted learning and productive action. You must aggressively seek the specialized knowledge required. This may mean taking a specialized industry course, finding a paid mentor in your field, or investing in specific technical books and journals, but you must move with speed and definiteness, seeing this acquisition as a high-yield investment, not an expense. Crucially, this plan must not exist in isolation. As you will learn in the final section, your plan must be checked, challenged, and approved by your Mastermind Alliance for blind spots, flaws, and areas where you lack expertise. Do not wait for perfection, but do not work in isolation. The man who is behind needs immediate, external accountability and organized counsel to refine his approach. Remember this law. The accumulation of great fortune or the achievement of any immense goal is impossible without power. Power comes from highly organized, specialized knowledge, intelligently directed. Your goal is to move from a person of potential to a person of manifest power by transforming your written plan from a theory into a daily, organized practice that yields measurable results and undeniable progress. The accelerator, persistence, and profiting by failure. The widest part of the gap between the successful and the unsuccessful is created precisely when people quit at the first inevitable signs of defeat. The man who is ahead is simply the man who stayed in the game longer, refusing to accept setbacks, and who maintained a fixed belief in his ultimate success longer than the man who is behind. To accelerate your progress and permanently close the gap, you must apply persistence, the sustained, unyielding effort necessary to induce faith in your own capacity and in the soundness of your aim, even when all evidence suggests otherwise. Persistence is not a passive quality like patience. It is an active state of mind that can be cultivated and commanded through habit and the intensity of your desire. It is the guarantee that your desire will not waver in the face of temporary defeat. Lack of persistence is the most common and crippling weakness in the man who feels behind. He tries a new plan for a week or a month, meets a minor setback, allows a negative influence to seize his mind, and then quits, returning immediately to his old, safe, but mediocre routine. We must end this cycle now by committing to a course of action, regardless of short-term outcomes or initial appearances of failure. The man who quits gives up his right to the rewards, standing figuratively 3 feet from gold. You must make persistence your watchword, understanding that every effort, even a failed one that provides a lesson, brings you closer to the correct path and refines your plan. Consider Thomas A. Edison, a man who built a fortune on the principle of sustained, systematic effort and continuous experimentation. Edison was the master of persistence. He met with what others call temporary defeat 10,000 times before perfecting the incandescent light bulb, a process that would have caused a less determined mind to give up hope of success. Yet, when asked about his supposed failures, he famously said he had not failed, he had simply found 10,000 ways that would not work, reframing defeat as necessary feedback and data. His ultimate success was not luck. It was the direct result of a fixed purpose and sustained, intelligent, and unyielding persistence. Contrast this with the countless stories of men like the uncle of R.U., Darby, detailed in the original accounts of this philosophy, who quit digging just 3 feet from a massive, rich vein of gold. He allowed temporary defeat a dry hole in the ground, and the conventional advice of a passing skeptic to convince him his plans were unsound. The man who bought the claim hired an experienced mining engineer, who advised him to continue drilling, and the gold was struck 3 feet deeper. The difference between the two men was not intelligence, opportunity, or even physical effort. It was pure, unadulterated persistence driven by a deeper conviction in the potential reward. The man who quit lost millions. The man who persisted gained them. The great difference between the rich and the poor, the successful and the unsuccessful, is simply that the rich, once they have established a definite aim and sound plan, never quit. Lack of persistence is overcome by the overwhelming intensity of one's desire. This is why the first step, burning desire, is so utterly vital. It is the non-stop engine that drives persistence. If your desire is merely a wish, your persistence will collapse at the first sign of difficulty because the reward does not seem worth the immense effort. But if it is a definite, emotionalized, all-consuming aim, your persistence will become automatic, necessary, and self-sustaining. You must follow the 4 simple steps which lead to the guaranteed habit of persistence, a definite purpose backed by a burning desire, the non-negotiable foundation for all sustained effort, a definite plan in continuous action, the roadmap that guides and directs your effort with intelligence, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences. This requires continuous vigilance and willpower, a friendly alliance, a mastermind group which will encourage you to follow through with your plan. External support, accountability, and shared belief are vital for sustaining persistence during moments of internal doubt. If you are a late starter, you possess the powerful advantage of accumulated regret and the clear knowledge of the painful cost of past inaction. Use the pain of lost time to fuel the white-hot intensity of your desire, creating an unshakable sense of urgency. Do not allow your past to define your future. Let it Define your starting line and the ferocity of your current effort. You must adopt the creed as your personal operating philosophy. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. This is the psychological barrier you must enforce upon your own mind. When temporary defeat comes, as it surely will, you must accept it not as a final verdict on your worth or your goal, but as a signal that your plans are not sound or complete, or that your applied knowledge is insufficient. The intelligent man does not let failure stop him. He lets failure teach him precisely where the error in his plan lies. Rebuild your plans, informed by the new, costly knowledge gained from the setback, and set sail once more with a sounder, more resilient strategy. This is a vital universal law that governs all setbacks. Every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Your past failures, your wasted time, your regrets, these are all seeds of advantage, provided you analyze them objectively, extract the lesson, and apply that learning with greater persistence and a sounder, corrected plan. Your effort must be sustained effort. Spasmodic or occasional effort to apply the rules will be of no value. Success is not a lottery or a lucky break. You must apply all rules until their application becomes a fixed, automatic habit, an inherent law of your being, requiring minimal conscious struggle. Persistence is your insurance policy against failure. It is the accelerator that will close the gap between you and the men who started earlier by sheer force of will and consistent, directed action. The final fix, organizing power and leveraging others. The ultimate reason successful people pull ahead and maintain their lead is that they systematically leverage the power of others. The man who is behind is almost always the man who has tried to work alone, relying solely on his own limited time, his limited energy, and his limited specialized knowledge, a strategy inherently doomed to small, slow results. You cannot afford to work alone. Power is organized and intelligently directed. K-N-G, knowledge and the mastermind principle, provides you with instant multiplicative capacity that you do not possess individually, creating a synergy that is geometrically more potent than the sum of its parts. The mastermind principle is defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of perfect harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. You have likely been told that to achieve greatness, you must rely exclusively on your own effort and self-sufficiency. This is a half-truth that, when followed literally, leads inevitably to mediocrity and burnout. No individual has sufficient capacity, time, or knowledge to ensure the accumulation of a great fortune or the achievement of a vast goal without the willing cooperation of other people's minds and services. The man who is ahead of you has organized the minds and specialized skills of others to his advantage, consciously or unconsciously. Consider Andrew Carnegie, the industrial titan who set me on this lifelong task. Carnegie accumulated his vast fortune entirely through the mastermind principle. He was neither a steel technician, a scientific inventor, nor a financial expert. He was a master organizer of men and minds. He surrounded himself with men who had the experience, specialized education, native ability, and imagination that he personally lacked, compensating for his own deficits with the organized, collective, specialized knowledge of others. His power was not his own knowledge, but his ability to organize the power of other minds in a spirit of perfect harmony to achieve his definite chief aim of industrial domination and market control. Carnegie was a late starter in many respects, but the moment he organized his mastermind group, his personal capacity multiplied exponentially, effectively allowing him to operate with multiple brains, skill sets, and vast energy reserves simultaneously. The mastermind principle is the driving force that instantly closes the gap between you and those who are ahead of you by multiplying your power and drastically reducing your time to knowledge. It brings 4 crucial, non-negotiable benefits. Unlimited specialized knowledge. You gain instant access to the accumulated experience and education of every mind in the group, bypassing the years it would take to acquire that specialized knowledge yourself. stimulation, and encouragement. The group provides the friendly alliance, shared purpose, and encouragement necessary to sustain persistence and eliminate the crushing effect of negative influences and paralyzing self-doubt. Refinement of plans. Your written plan, which will inevitably be flawed due to your limited perspective, is checked, challenged, refined, and improved by the best minds available, ensuring the plan is sound, resilient, and optimized from the start. Creation of a third mind. When two or more minds harmonize through the principle of the master mind, a third invisible, intangible force is created, a dynamic field of energy, providing insight, inspiration, and solutions that neither mind possesses individually. This is the true source of all sustained genius and great invention. You must immediately ally yourself with a group of people you need for the creation and carrying out of your plan, selecting members specifically because they possess the specialized knowledge, character, or influence you lack. Follow these laws for formation and maintenance. Maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member. Failure here is catastrophic and guarantees failure, as friction neutralizes the entire synergistic power of the group. Harmony is the essential ingredient. Discord destroys the creative power of the alliance instantly, reducing the power of the group to less than the sum of its parts. Demand harmony as the price of admission, and remove any member who introduces conflict or doubt. Induce others to serve you because of your willingness to serve others. The mastermind is not a system of exploitation. It is a system of mutually beneficial cooperation. You must give as much as you receive, or more, in terms of service, loyalty, specialized knowledge, and goodwill. Do not let limited schooling create an inferiority complex. This is a common psychological weakness among late starters. Remember, the person who can organize and direct a mastermind group, the leader, is just as much a man of education as any person in the group, because organizing power and directing specialized knowledge is the most valuable and highly compensated form of all specialized knowledge. If you have a limited network, do not wait for the perfect assembly of masters to appear magically. Start small. Your first mastermind partner may be someone you pay to consult, a business associate, or a trusted advisor who holds a key piece of specialized knowledge that you require for your definite chief aim. Begin with one mind and expand based on necessity, not comfort, always prioritizing those who elevate your plan and your thinking. Furthermore, you must utilize the profound power of imagination through what I call invisible council meetings. If you lack a physical group, you must practice holding regular imaginary meetings with men of recognized genius, with Emerson, Edison, Ford, Carnegie, and other historical figures whose achievements you admire. Sit quietly and use your imagination to picture these men advising you specifically on your definite chief aim, asking them specific, directed questions. This intense imaginative practice stimulates your own latent imagination and provides an invaluable source of inspiration and guidance, helping you to automatically think like the successful men you wish to emulate by accessing the cosmic reservoir of thought and lifting your personal mental vibration. Your goal for this final section is to recognize that working alone is a virtual guarantee of mediocrity and slow progress. Your acceleration and ultimate lasting success depend on your ability to organize the power of other minds toward your single definite purpose. The power that creates great fortunes is always organized power, the result of two or more minds in perfect harmony. You came to this message because you feel the sting of wasted time. You worry, perhaps desperately, that you are too far behind to ever catch up. I have shown you that the gap between you and the man who is ahead is not a measure of innate talent, but a measure of law, specifically, the degree to which you have applied the fixed natural laws of achievement. The hidden reason you are behind is the fundamental lack of a definite chief aim and the ensuing indecision and procrastination that have systematically stolen your time and dissipated your energy and potential. But I give you the great unwavering promise. The application of these fixed laws is independent of age, past failure, or starting condition. The universe does not care when you start. It only cares that you begin to obey the laws of achievement now with a new, focused intensity and absolute commitment. The fix for your situation is not a secret. It is a structured 90-day program of self-command and directed action that must begin today, serving as the required ignition sequence for your second start and your ultimate success, days 1 to 30, desire and auto-suggestion. Command your subconscious mind. Define your definite chief aim with total clarity, and use the 6 steps for transmuting desire twice daily to build an absolute, unshakable faith in your ability to achieve it, making success the expected, inevitable outcome. Days 31 to 60, decision and environment. Master your action and your environment. Adopt the habit of prompt decision. Commit to changing decisions slowly, and close your mind tightly against all negative influences and the paralyzing effects of fear and doubt. Days 61 to 90, planning and knowledge. Convert potential into tangible power. Reduce your plan to writing. Acquire the necessary specialized knowledge to execute it flawlessly, and apply the QQS formula with every service you render, maximizing your market value and reputation. Continuous effort, persistence, and mastermind. Make persistence your permanent watchword, refusing to quit under any circumstance, and begin forming your mastermind alliance immediately to ensure your power is organized, your plan is sound, and your effort is sustained indefinitely by the collective power of others. This transformation requires nothing external but your firm decision and your will to follow the formula without compromise or deviation. You have been given the formula that created the greatest fortunes in the history of the world. Your past is irrelevant. Only your immediate organized action matters. If you have found clarity and the necessary intensity in these principles, then this is the moment of your decision to stop drifting and start steering the course of your life. If you know someone else who feels stuck, behind, or burdened by past delays, share this message with them. You are not only sharing a video, you are sharing the keys to personal liberty and a guaranteed second start by providing a proven, definite method. I ask you to command your focus now. Write your definite chief aim in the comments below, including the deadline you have set for yourself, making it a public declaration of your non-negotiable intent. Commit your purpose to the world, and let the law of definiteness take hold as you begin your 90-day sprint toward freedom. You are not too late. The time you wasted only increases the intensity of the desire you must now forge. Go and build a life of purpose, command, and ultimate freedom by mastering the fixed laws of personal achievement.